copies. So millions of people sold millions of singles, I guess, like certain people, but a million seller was a big record. Like double platinum was invented in the late 70s. Like, you know, double platinum was like a Kiss marketing thing. Let's call it double platinum because it went platinum.
Leonard Skinner record, dude. It's the best.
Because
wasn't it double platinum, gold platinum? What's that?
Gold. There was a compilation called like Gold and Platinum, I think. Yeah,
I had it, of course.
Of course you did. So they're making they're probably on a 45 is, you know, 70 cents to $1, and they might be making 5 cents on each one, you know, and they're making millions of dollars because they're selling, you know, millions of records
worldwide, presumably
worldwide, right? So right now, my guess is they probably make more on a record in the UK than they did in the US because the deal was out of the UK.
Like paying off things, Tony, right up until 68.
And they're taxed at 90%.
They have to put out the Yellow Submarine thing. Like comes out as how the hell can we put, like, we got to fulfill this film thing, and then someone comes up with the idea. How about these cartoon Beatles? And I think there was no doubt flack that was given, like, no, you guys got to be in a movie. It's got to be the Beatles. It's got to be, and they were just like, we're not doing that. And like,
but speak of the other merger, remember there was also the cartoon show too. Besides that,
well, there was the cartoon show, but like, right, and that's going on. That's like, you know, whatever. The monkeys end up just like kind of sending that up in a live action form, but like, you know, like they're trying to get out. They have obligations to still fulfill all the way through 68. You know, that Brian Epstein had signed. So even though he dies in 67, they're like, we still got to do this, and this. And then things started to open up for him.
But there goes, right? So their deal is ending in 67, and they negotiate their own record label.
So they've got Apple Records that they put together. So they just decide we're going to be done with all this stuff. And that included, like, they were done with films. They were done with all of their old contractual obligations. And finally, free agents.
And having your own label buys you that you don't have to answer it.
Well, they were the first people to do it, so
right. But
it was the right to lose a lot of money.
But the idea is that they'll just distribute it. Whatever we're making, they're going to distribute for us. It's more of a distribution.
Well, once again, every record deal is right. So all the three of us, we're going to start a record label together. So what are we going to do, and what do we need other people to do? Right? It's like, okay, so we've decided that we're going to go to Warner, and we're going to negotiate a deal. It's like, well, do we want a manufacturing and distribution deal? That's all we want. We're going to deliver the masters to them. They're going to print them, and they're going to get them, and their sales department is going to do that. And our only obligation to them is we're going to put together a one sheet for their sales staff. But we're the ones that are going to call radio stations and speak to the press, right? And it's like, well, no, maybe it should be more of a marketing deal, and that we want to use their promo people, and they're going to do more. And actually, we're actually going to be the creative side. All we're going to do is we're going to deliver a finished product, and it's all theirs. And we retain ownership, but it's exclusively theirs. You know, so that's how, you know, remember Bowie got in trouble, and Iggy ended up with Main Man Productions, right? Where this guy, Tony DeFries, actually signed Bowie to Main Man, made all of Bowie's records under Main Man. And then that had a licensing deal with RCA in the United States. And, you know, and so and as a result, Bowie had less control, and this guy screwed Bowie over. And even not that long ago, I like Main Man was coming around claiming that they had the rights, that they had only licensed the record and tape rights to these companies, and that still retained the digital rights.
They had the foresight 40 years ago.
They were like,
Right.
They were literally, they came. It's like, yeah, we represent Raw Power by the Stooges. That was a deal with Main Man, with Columbia. We have it. We own the masters. Blah, blah, and it was just like, they lost, I think, eventually, but it was, it took Main Man was like paying for Bowie's limos and all of that stuff and investing in creating that whole image. And in reality, he owned Bowie. Yeah. So all of that stuff, you can get screwed every which way. So,
right. And there's no shortage of people willing to do the screwing. If you have,
and that's what I mean. But once again, right, Alan Klein will say, like, I'm not screwing you. I got you far more money than you ever gotten, and then the record label would own your masters. Instead, I own your masters. Like, isn't that better? That's how, I could totally see the logic of that. I mean, you thought he was on your team, but no. I mean, he was on his team, and he did a good job for you, but he could have done a better one.
Just looking out for his main client himself.
Yeah.
I think I should start the show now. I think we're only an hour into it.
Yeah, we're ready. I think we mentioned the Beatles enough.
Right. Well, you've been listening to the Beatdown. This is the Beatdown Music Podcast.
The business section.
That's right. We're only had this hour warm up. You're listening to the Beatdown, our 15th episode. My name's Tony. I'm the host of the show. I've got my two.
I'm John.
Yeah, I've got my two pilots here, John and Chris, that are here with the stories and the insight into the music that we love.
I guess I should. We could do the feedback openly that I've got. So one of the feedback I get, and I would love to hear from more people. And Tony, how can they get in touch with us?
Sure. If you have something to say, reach out to us through Gmail, the Beatdown Music Podcast at gmail.com. Or you can
the Beatdown Music Podcast at Gmail. Right. And this, so what I've been hearing is that our conversations can be kind of dense. So the length of them make them, a little harder to digest, and that maybe we might want to consider tightening them up.
Okay.
And I don't know if that means cutting us off or maybe splitting them up. Because I don't know how to carve these up. And you cut us off after an hour. So
right, because we would keep going. Yeah.
So I don't know how to make it a little more digestible pill, but
shit.
Well, you know what? I took a hike, and it worked out perfect, an hour and a half. And I was like, this is great. This is what it's for. That episode with the classic one, the classic music. I was like, this is the ideal length. I went out for a hike on a nice spring day.
So there you go. There you go. This is but you release it on a Monday, but your hikes are on the weekends. So should we drop these closer to the weekend and then?
Well, because we
give trail maps out.
I know. Well, what happens is I'm working on them over the weekend, so I'm going out on my hikes with the. I have to QC it and check it out and listen to it and get. And I don't just put it together and push it out. I listen to it multiple times. And I got to hear it out in the field, so I know, yes, this is good. Or I'll be like, as I'm out there walking, I pick up on Mike's comment of this one song is particularly high. I got to make a mental note when I go back home to adjust that one, or switch songs around even, and so that's why I figured Monday morning people start their week, and look, it's a podcast. You could listen to it anytime, however you like. You could stop it. You could take it back. You could cut it and, pause it. You could put it on repeat. People have all week to ingest it.
That's true. Okay.
It'd be great if the day and the morning that they're issued, that they're published, people immediately downloaded them and listened to the entire thing and wanted more. But I kind of throw it out there on a Monday thinking that, it gives people time to down.
Oh, that's true. I hear you.
Were people asking for more John?
More John.
No, actually, you heard Doug kept saying it's like there was a lot of fascination with the SST story, and so everyone it's like you're interrupting. John, let John finish the story before you ask about the.
I heard.
It's fair criticism, you know. We were excited about that.
But I was keeping it real.
Yeah,
I refuse.
Chris, don't change your style at all.
You got it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that.
Just like, and people should know, we actually had a topic for today that we were raring to go, and we start out and the conversation.
Tony, have you noticed that almost always happens though? We just start riffing and we like, to me, I thought for sure is we're recording this on International Louie Louie Day. Now, there's probably not a single song we've talked about the most than that one particular song, and it is Richard Berry's birthday today.
Well, he deserves a mention.
1935, April 11th. And I don't know I really don't know what the proper way to celebrate, but I thought for sure that we would just I'm glad we were able to mention.
Yeah, well, we had like you said, it's been mentioned. It's but that song's been talked about quite a bit, and we could probably go off on a whole nother hour on that topic,
or have level of travel. That seems to get people.
Yeah, that's a great song.
Yeah, great scream in there too. By the way, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, the conversation we were having last night was a whole nother one. Was we went off on the original version of Ramblin' Rose, that we know from the MC5.
Wow.
Original version, Jerry Lee Lewis, 1962.
Oh, we'll track that down.
Piano song. Then we found a cover. So then there's a guy named Ted. Oh, I'm going to blank on his name. Who. He did the version in 1965 that the MC5 do because he puts in the falsetto that everybody is a Ramalibra, right? And then there's a British band that's called Beauregard and the Toughs that kind of cover the Ted version. Oh, I got to remember this guy's name now. And he he put in like this fuzz guitar, but it's definitely they're doing like a cover of the cover. Ted Taylor is the guy who the MC5 does, and then it's
Ted King Size Taylor.
Ted Taylor. There is no king size in this one, but it's 1965. Nashville guy. It's on OK Records. He does do. He's like an R&B guy. Ted Taylor.
Do the Pretty Things do a version of that song?
Of Ramblin' Rose?
Yeah. Or what am I thinking? Rosalind?
Nat Cole's is, of course, the best. Ramblin' Rose.
Literally every place I've read about the song, it says not to be confused with.
Right. Right.
So, anyway. It was on the original. That one was on OK Records, but so these are like things we can't even find on Spotify. So Doug was pulling them up on YouTube. Highly recommended.
Nice.
Beauregard and the Toughs.
Okay.
Version of Ramblin' Rose. No one they can't find any other information. But like it's the 145 down the UK.
As much as I love the recorded version, the version that's up on YouTube of them playing at whatever that field house out like out
in Lansing,
out there in Michigan somewhere, it's just like
the UP.
They're crushing it. He's killing it, and it's one of my favorite things ever. It's like such an unbelievably great live performance of the three songs that they put up anyway.
Yeah. Oh, all of them are great because because the one that totally wipes me out is the version of
right.
Looking at You.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's so great.
It literally might be the most exciting footage of rock and roll I've ever seen.
Do you guys know more of their story and why they? Oh,
you don't, dude. You need another episode.
Well, we are going to do. Right. We should do. We're putting that on the agenda on MC5.
So then my assignment before that one is, I believe it's still up on YouTube. There was a documentary about the MC5 that I saw at film festivals, and I got the chance to see it 3 times. It was so good, and it's called